Summer's approaching and alarm bells are being sounded, warning that parts of Australia may be in for the worst bushfire season in decades. The problem is the recent flooding rains, which have brought relief from drought but led to enormous growth in bush and grasslands, and that's fuel for fires. As Tracy Bowden reports, authorities are stepping up their awareness programs in readiness for a dangerous summer.
I did everything wrong, really. I saw that the wind was southeasterly. It was pushing the fire away from us. I actually told my husband, don't worry, you know, the CFS are here, the water bombers are here. But then it started to mushroom.
Linda O'Bear knows the sound, the smell and the fear of bushfires.
I did get worried, and 120 firefighters were there. It took a long time to put the fire out.
After this fire came precariously close to her Adelaide Hills home in 2008, she understands the importance of preparation.
We've got 2 water tanks, which we've installed. We have moved some of the bushes that were here because they were flammable. We keep the grass down.
Across Australia, as the hot, windy weather approaches, the warnings are going out. The bushfire outlook for this summer is alarming.
We're looking at conditions like we haven't seen for many decades. So there is going to be some challenges as we come into this summer.
Areas around the centre of Australia, everything from about the Great Dividing Range right across to Western Australia. We're expecting to have higher fire activity, that we are also expecting, I guess, a lot more fires than we would normally see.
This map, prepared by the Bushfire Cooperative Research Centre, gives a clear picture. The large band across the nation shows the areas expected to have above average fire activity this summer.
Ironically, it was the floods and the rainfall we've had through Queensland, inner New South Wales and last year through Central and Western Australia. That's caused high levels of grass growth. So the fuel loads are very high in the grassland areas, whereas the forests this year are still relatively wet from the rainfall.
As a result, the authorities don't expect the damage to be done by forest fires such as those which devastated Victoria on Black Saturday in 2009, but by grass fires.
Fine fuels, they will ignite easily, and under the right conditions, fires will spread extremely quickly. Grass fires will have no trouble running at 2 to 3 times the speed of a bushfire. A bushfire will typically run at a speed of less than 10 kilometres an hour, but grass fires will have no trouble under the right conditions running at 20 or 30 kilometres an hour.
It's a bit tricky having that front move through really rapidly. So
bushfire potential depends on a range of factors. The climate outlook for the next few months is crucial.
We've had a La Nina pattern for the last 2 years, and that's quite a wet pattern that's put a dampener on fire activity, especially in southern and eastern Australia. What we're heading into now is something more neutral, or a El Nino pattern, and that's a pattern that you get when you get warm temperatures in the Pacific Ocean combined with different circulation patterns in the atmosphere. Can you see much effect from this cold front?
The Bureau of Meteorology's severe weather team combines information about fuel and weather to forecast for bushfires.
And the most important parts of the weather are the temperature, the relative humidity and the wind. And that's because the temperature and the relative humidity determine how flammable that fuel is on the day. And it's the wind that actually drives the fire and feeds oxygen to the fire. So it's the combination of all those factors that make for a bad fire day.
In New South Wales, there have been more than 1,500 bushfires in just the last 2 months. Rural Fire Service Commissioner Shane Fitzsimmons says the risks can't be overstated.
It is absolutely serious, and if you go back to fire seasons in New South Wales where we saw grasslands of any parallel, so you're going back to the early 70s or the early 80s, during those fire seasons you're talking about lives were lost, you're talking about properties being lost, you're talking about anywhere from 35 to 55,000 head of stock being lost, you're talking about tens of thousands of kilometres of fencing being destroyed.
Brigades are carrying out hazard reduction burns whenever conditions are right, and community awareness programs are urging people to prepare their homes and properties. After the Black Saturday fires, what became known as the Stay or Go policy was replaced nationally with Prepare Well, Act Decisively and Survive.
In a lot of the cases where we've looked at post-fire events, people wait to be told when to go. It is really clear that people won't necessarily get a warning and that they need to be aware of the conditions around themselves and go very early. And very early may well be the night before a bad fire danger is predicted, or very early in that morning.
Back in Adelaide, Linda O'Bear has prepared her home and has a plan.
Certainly if it's an extreme or a catastrophic day, I won't stay here. I believe everybody should leave early if it's safe to do so.
The loss of life from any fire is tragic. So our message is people need to be prepared. They need to prepare themselves, their family and their property for this fire season.
Tracy Bowden reporting.